Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. And keep in mind, God is very serious, very serious. And I have 4 scriptures or so for you to help you understand why that is. So first, let's look at Luke 12:47. The servant who knows the master's will and does not get ready, or does not do what the master wants, will be beaten with many blows. Okay, the servant who knows the master's will and does not get ready or does not do what the master wants will be beaten with many blows. So does God just forgive people no matter what? No. And it's figurative, right? It's alluding to eternal punishment. The smoke from their torment will rise forever and ever. That's what it says in Revelation. So Matthew 24 verse 50. The master of that servant will come on a day when he does not expect him, and at an hour he is not aware of. The word hours scrambled is the word horse. He will cut him to pieces and assign him a place with the hypocrites. You know, the Pharisees are called hypocrites, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Now remember in Proverbs 17:2, it says a prudent servant will rule over a disgraceful son and will share the inheritance as one of the family. So the master could be in the form of somebody who's not a Jew according to the Old Testament. Okay. So again, when it says he will cut him to pieces and assign him a place with the hypocrites, right? It's obviously not literal. It's talking about cutting his soul to pieces, damaging his soul, assigning him a place of torment with the hypocrites, with the smoke of their soul burning. The smoke of their torment will rise forever and ever. Let's look at the parable of the tenants. Matthew 21, verse 40. Therefore, when the owner of the vineyard comes, what will he do to those tenants, right? To the tenants who are cheating him, who persecuted his loyal servants, what have you, who persecuted his son. He will bring those wretches to a wretched end. They replied, and he will rent the vineyard to others who will give him his share of the crop at the harvest time. So what was the problem? Well, when we go back to Luke 12, right, the servant knew the master's will. He knew right from wrong. He knew to obey God in the divine order, in the African Falcon martial art order, because it's implicit, right? You know them by their works, by their fruit, right? Who is more righteous than who? In Matthew 24, the servant was starting to feel reckless, right? It's the parable or the story of the wise and faithful servant. And the servant started to just do whatever he felt like, right? He started getting drunk, started beating the servants, started throwing his weight around, started sinning in general. Okay? And in Matthew 21, in the parable of the tenants, they wanted to cheat the Son of God, and they abused anyone who took the Son of God's side. And so what happened to them? Right? They're beaten with many blows, cut to pieces. They're brought to a wretched end, right? He will bring those wretches to a wretched end. When you look at Psalm 45, it makes it clear who the most righteous is, who the most excellent of men is. Riding forth in the cause of truth, justice, humility, faithfulness, what have you. And it says that people must obey especially attractive females. Read Psalm 45 several times, right? They say must bow, must obey, must submit. Look at the different versions of Psalm 45. Now in my martial art code, point number 10. Point number 10 in my martial art code, 189,000 deaths a day, right? There are 189,000 deaths a day or so, which means by default, the virtuous are slaying the souls of the wicked. Only complete warthogs and fleas and snakes and peacocks, and peacock cowards rather, etc. would rebel against me. There is no valid order after my flesh dies. So again, 189,000 deaths a day or so means by default, the virtuous are slaying the souls of the wicked. Only complete warthogs and fleas and snakes and peacock cowards, etc. would rebel against me. There is no valid order after my flesh dies. It helps you understand Luke 12:47, Matthew 24:50 and 51, Matthew 21:40 and 41, Psalm 45, what have you. And now what does it mean to be serious versus unserious? Well, what it means to be unserious, well, the common synonyms include frivolous, flippant, and facetious. Facetious means not taking things seriously, making inappropriate comments, having an inappropriate response, a facetious response. And frivolous and flippant means similar things, right? They're unserious. These words describe attitudes or behaviors that lack proper respect, solemnity, or deep thought. So notice it says they lack deep thought, right? To be unserious includes lacking deep thought, lacking sincerity, not being serious and sincere. Okay. So other people are basically unserious. Now, what are the rich doing wrong? Let's look at Proverbs 18:23 and Proverbs 28:11 and wrap this up here. Proverbs 18:23. The poor plead for mercy, but the rich answer harshly. So the poor, by their actions, plead for mercy, and the rich are answering harshly by their actions. So someone said to me, who's going to pay for extra police to keep people safe? Who's going to pay the $10 billion a year tab to hire like 60, 70,000 more police officers, depending on how much you pay them, what services they provide, what have you? Okay? And the answer is obvious, right? The rich should pay for it, obviously, the top 10%, first and foremost, okay? So the poor are pleading for mercy, like for more law enforcement, what have you, and they're answering harshly, right? Rehabs, affordable housing, tiny homes for the homeless, more oversight. So the rich have no excuse for not providing these services. Their main argument is, hey, throwing money at it doesn't solve the problem. That's why you make it so there's more oversight. You get the who's who at figuring out how to do it efficiently on the job, and you make it more efficient. But they just are making excuses. So in other words, while the poor are pleading for mercy, they're answering harshly. Proverbs 28:11. The rich are wise in their own eyes. One who is poor and discerning sees how deluded they are. So the rich think they're wise. They think it's smart to play stupid about how to solve homelessness and to build rehabs and, you know, the reason why you should have more law enforcement, why you should be more responsible with the wars and so on and so forth. Okay, why they shouldn't put stuff in the food and the air. They're playing stupid. And they think it's smart. It's even in the Old Testament. It's even in the Bible that the rich think they're smart, right? They're wise in their own eyes. And they say things like, change your point of view. Why? So you can be deluded? So the rich are wise in their own eyes. One who is poor and discerning sees how deluded they are. Now, if we look at Revelation, it says that the merchants and the kings of the earth, those who are worldly kings, not true kings from God, okay, and I'm the only true king from God, and somebody said, my father, right? So it's me, it's my father and I, what have you, and I'm Christ. And, you know, it says that they got rich with the prostitute system, with Babylon's system, right? And they thought it was smart to be in Babylon's system, culture, ways, paths. But they're stupid. Now, who sees that they're dumb? Some gold digger? No, she's dating them. Some managerial person? No. According to Proverbs 28:11, it says someone who's poor and discerning. Not just poor, being discerning, smart enough to not be a sinner. Smart enough to not cheat me out of my right to leave. Someone who's poor and discerning understands why they're deluded. They don't just kind of understand. They see how deluded they are. Not kind of how deluded, they see how deluded they are, period.